In a time long ago, in a land filled with shadows and ancient stories, there stood a vast kingdom known as Egypt, ruled by a mighty pharaoh. The people of Israel were trapped in the clutches of slavery, forced to toil day and night. Their cries for freedom echoed through the desert sands. But among them was a man named Moses, chosen by destiny to lead his people from bondage to the promised land. One day, as Moses tended to the flocks of his father-in-law in the wilderness, he came upon a sight that would change his life forever, a bush that burned with fire, yet was not consumed. As he approached in awe, a voice called out from the flames, "Moses! Moses!" It was the voice of the Almighty, saying, "I have heard the cries of my people. You shall go to Pharaoh and demand their freedom." With courage and doubt mingling in his heart, Moses returned to Egypt. He stood before the mighty Pharaoh, his voice steady yet humble, proclaiming, "Let my people go." But Pharaoh's heart was hard as stone, and he refused. Thus began a battle unlike any other, a struggle not of swords but of faith and divine power. To show Pharaoh the might of the God of Israel, Moses brought forth wonders: rivers turned to blood, swarms of locusts, and darkness that blanketed the land. Each time, Pharaoh's heart hardened, and each time the plagues grew fiercer. Finally, after the final plague, a night of sorrow when the firstborn of Egypt fell, Pharaoh relented, allowing Moses to lead the Israelites to freedom. The people of Israel, filled with fear and joy, fled into the night, led by the glowing light of a pillar of fire that guided them through the darkness. But soon, Pharaoh's regret churned in his heart, and he sent his armies to recapture the escaping slaves. Just when it seemed the Israelites were trapped between the vast sea and the might of Pharaoh, Moses raised his staff, and the waters parted like a curtain, creating a dry path through the heart of the sea. With faith as their guide, the people crossed, and when Pharaoh's army pursued, the waves crashed back together, swallowing the chariots whole. The Israelites stood on the shores, free at last. They sang songs of praise, their hearts soaring like eagles in the sky, rejoicing in their liberation. Yet, their journey was far from over. They wandered through the wilderness, seeking not just a new land, but a new way of life. They faced trials and tribulations, doubts and fears, and in those moments, they learned to trust not just in a leader, but in the power of faith that binds them together as a people. It was then that Moses ascended a great mountain, Mount Sinai, where the heavens roared and the earth trembled. In the presence of the Almighty, he received words of wisdom etched into stone, the 10 Commandments. These were not mere rules, but sacred teachings for a life of love, respect, and harmony. "You shall have no other gods before me," Moses proclaimed to his people. "Honor your parents, do not steal, do not lie, and love your neighbor as yourself." As he returned, carrying these commandments like a torch of light for their journey ahead, the people gathered, filled with expectation. They understood that these laws were a guide to build a nation of kindness and justice, to weave their hearts into a tapestry of community. From that day forward, the Israelites forged their identity around these commandments, their lives transformed by the lessons of faith, unity, and love. They wandered on, always looking to the horizon, knowing that they were not just following a man, but the promises of the divine. And so, the legacy of Moses and the 10 Commandments became a guiding star for generations, teaching lessons that echo through the ages, reminding us all of the power of faith and the importance of living with purpose. And thus concludes the epic tale, one of courage, liberation, and divine wisdom, forever inscribed in the hearts of those who believe.